Welcome to RGBA, where we cover technology news, cool gadget, and do product reviews. This is episode number 32. My name is Alexandre Vallière-Lagacé, and I'm joined by my co-host, Tyler Ménard. This week, we discuss the USB-C nightmare, a checkout-less store, and a cool GIF robot. So before going into the news, I've got a little piece of follow-up. Last couple of shows, I reviewed the NES Classic Edition, which is the small HDMI-based console from Nintendo that plays about 30 games from the past. I played this a lot with my kids, and my kids gave me a comment one time. They said that I'm not as good as I was saying I was. And they were right. I had more problems than I was expecting with many of the games, especially Mario Bros. 3, which I was pretty good at. I could do some crazy slides below blocks. I can jump on multiple enemies. But none of that was possible today on that console. And I figured, why is that? Then I realized that there's something extra with the console. Not just cool HDMI graphics, but there's also a delay that's introduced in the console. So when you press the button, there's a small, maybe 50, 100 millisecond, maybe 150 millisecond delay between the time you press and when Mario actually jumps. And I did not remember if that was the case in the old consoles. So what I did is I took my old NES and I plugged it into my TV using those RGBA cable converter to go to my HD TV. And this is like a dumb cable. There's no conversion being done apart from the TV itself. And of course, the image is not as good, of course, because that's just like a RCA cable being connected to a TV. But there were no delay. The way I was playing when I was a kid and now was exactly the same thing. I was as good. I could jump on whatever enemies I wanted. I could aim for the very last pixel before the hole and be able to jump at the last minute. So that there really is a big delay with the NES Classic, and that's a big problem if you're doing speedruns or if you're just trying to go fast and go where you were used to go. So yeah, that's a problem the console has. So
did you see anybody else online complaining about it?
Not really. However, I haven't got into any classic nerd forums. And I'm guessing that most classic gamers already have an NES and the original game, so they don't care about that new little console. But yeah, there is a delay, and it's a important one, I would say, because it affects gameplay.
Then did your kids believe you after that when they saw you playing on the real NES?
Yeah. Once I was able to put my skills to the test,
okay,
it was much more believable.
We believe you.
Exactly. Yeah. So. Is there something they can do for that? I'm not even sure, because that's the introduced delay of the converter that converts the RF signal to HDMI signal. Perhaps they could have used more expensive parts, but then again, I'm not sure they're going to go the whole way, because there's a device called a FrameMeister, which is a RCA to HDMI converter that's from Japan, and it's about $400. So I'm not sure they would use similar components in that little console. So you got to live with it. And if they ever bring out a SNES version of that classic console, sadly, I think we'll have the same kind of delay. And you won't be able to do all those super precise jump from Super Mario World.
So last week we were talking about Fitbit being bought by... we talked about Fitbit buying Pebble. And I had this vision. I thought that I heard somewhere that they were killing the smartwatch company, and they made it official this week, that the Fitbit is going to go away. They're sunsetting Fitbit.
Yeah, yes and no. The wording is not clear, but it's clear enough that people are pretty much enraged. They're saying that over time they're gonna reduce the number of working services. The problem with that is that there's a bunch of services on the watch that depends on, server-side components from Fitbit. And if these are shut down, probably the watch will eventually stop working in various parts of the watch. perhaps whenever you start it, you'll get a warning that the Fitbit server is not available or whatever, and eventually you will probably not be able to access the store or the app store and stuff like that. So basically what they're saying is that we don't tell you guys exactly when it's going to be pulled, but it's going to be pulled eventually. So don't get your hopes up of future compatibility with that. The sad thing is that they recently finished a Kickstarter campaign for the Pebble 2, and they basically sold a couple thousand of those, and they were sent to the backers. So those guys actually just purchased a brand new device that might be dead in 3 months. So that's like the best way you can take all your customer base and totally screw them over.
I didn't see the new Kickstarter.
It was a couple months ago. It was the Pebble 2, and there was the Pebble Round, and there was also a third device which was kind of like a clip-on device that can track your steps and stuff like that. Kind of like a dumbed-down version of whatever Pebble is using for the activity monitoring. And the only thing that was shipped was the Pebble 2. The Pebble Round was never shipped, so they refunded the Kickstarter, the backers. Same thing for that little clip-on thing. So all these things, consider you're getting your money back, of course. If you already have a device, well, too bad for you. You got probably a couple months of support, and eventually it will completely stop working, unless there's somebody out there that makes like a jailbreak of the Pebble and they kickstart their own server components for that. I don't know. Maybe that's possible. That could give the products a second life. So yeah, that's pretty sad for everyone who got one. And Fitbit, even though, like we said last week, they have a good brand, they are recognized as a Fitbit, which is a thing, like Kleenex and other kind of things, other kind of brands. They're not gonna get that easy with those new this new purchase, because that's a lot of users using Pebbles, and they're not pretty happy right now.
Did they talk about numbers? How many exactly? No.
Numbers of users?
Active users or users that have a Pebble and use it.
No, but you can probably go on Kickstarter and look the number of backers.
Right, that can give you an idea.
And probably add maybe 50% to that, because over the years they probably sold even more from the stores than from, probably double the numbers from Kickstarter to get a rough idea of how many users. But no, they haven't specified anything, because Fitbit really is only interested in the technology, and probably a couple of individuals who have high skills or are aware of future projects from Pebble that were interesting to Fitbit. So
it's an acqui-hire.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon unveiled a new product, if you want. They've been talking a lot about... Yeah, it's a test. It's a beta store, basically. They showed us a video of Amazon Go, which is a brick and mortar store where you can go in, do your purchases, and go out. There's no checkout. There's no clerk that can scan your products and make sure you paid for everything. Everything is automated. So what happens is you get in the store, you use the Amazon Go app, you scan your phone, then you can pass a little gate and you're in the store. And whenever you take an item from the shelf and you remove it from the shelf, it gets added to your cart. When you put it back, if you change your mind, it's removed from your cart. And when you're done, you just exit the store, scan again, I think, or maybe just exit, I'm not even sure. And your Amazon account will be credited for the amount of the purchase you did. So they mostly showed, I think, was like kind of a grocery store most of all. So probably linked to the Amazon Fresh network they already have in place in the States. And yeah, so that's basically it. It's a store with no checkout. So I love it.
They're starting it in Seattle, of course, because their headquarters are there. They don't talk about like the technology exactly that they're using. They have these bunch of like weird names that they give to their technologies, like just-in-time checkout or something.
Yeah,
it's not very clear how it's going to work yet. I think, like if each item has an RFID in it, or if it's just somebody saying that it's scanning it's not scanning, it knows like where you are physically in the store, and it knows where each product physically is in the store, so it kind of figures out what you just picked. But it's going to be interesting.
I think it's all in the shelves that the technology is located. So basically, There's probably like a weight let me start that. There's probably a weight sensing technology in the shelf. So when you pick up an item, it knows that the item was picked up. It probably knows on the location of where on the shelf it's picked up, so it knows which product it is. And there's probably also like an iBeacon in it that locates to your phone and knows that the person right in front of it is the one that purchases it and not the one that is like 2 meters to the left. So I know the iBeacon technology, when I worked with those at a past contract, they were precise to like maybe 2 or 3 centimeters. So it's something that can be very reliable, especially if you triangulate the position with more than 2. I tried with 1. It was maybe efficient to maybe 10 or 15 centimeters. But if I added a second one and a third one, I could get it down to 1 centimeter precision. There was one demo that came with these little device, and I could just move my phone and I could see the distance from each iBeacon in real time.
And yeah, they call it computer vision, deep learning algorithm, sensor fusion, and just walk out technology.
Yeah, these are all buzzwords.
Yeah.
So there would be like a camera, maybe just a heat sensing camera to detect the human versus no human, so they know which one to charge. They probably have like a couple of sensors that go together just to make sure that they charge the right person. Because imagine you go in for shopping and you get a few items and you go out and then you realize that you were charged $50 for those expensive virgin olive oil, like two lanes to the left where you never went. Or worse, you took something from the shelf and it charges you for the item right next to it, which is 4 times the price. So there could be lots of problems and lots of customer support calls. So yeah, hopefully they have the shelf, they have some camera, they have some sensors, just to be triple sure that you're the one who picked up the item.
And then after that, you can shop, but try to stay very, very close to somebody else always. So maybe he picks up your item.
Yeah, you try to game the system like that.
Or if it's something that just RFIDs, when you go out, you buy a tinfoil bag.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's RFID, because that idea was good when they started to talk about it, but the problem is that each and every item has to have a tag, each and every can, each and every little bag, each and every little snack bar. So it makes no sense in the end, because there's way too many products in the store, and at the scale that they want to operate that, it's just humanly cumbersome to tag everything. It's better to just say, on this shelf from this place to this place, you got 3 racks of bread, let's say, and this bread this is the CUP, the SKU of this product and the price, and I guess the rack probably just senses the weight, and then that's like the default value, and then when you ever take something off, it knows that that's the weight of one item, so it can deduce it. Kind of like those those manual checkout stations at different stores, where you actually have to you scan something and you put it on a weight sensing bed.
Yeah.
They actually know that the weight of each item, so they put that on this, and you're good to go. If you don't, then the clerk has to come and confirm that it's okay. So it's probably something like that, but better.
It's also going to be hard for fruits and vegetables. Everything that the cashier has to manually enter a code or has to weigh, everything that's sold by weight, it's all going to be...
Unless it's all prepackaged in little bags.
Yes, it's all going to have to be prepackaged.
Yeah, most probably. So there'll be a video in the show notes to show exactly how it works, and pretty nice. I'm looking forward to that kind of setup, because we talked about it a few times in the past. We both don't really like to go up to a human and interact, so just give me my stuff, let me get out, and that's it.
And the self-checkout right now at the store doesn't work as nice as having somebody actually do it for you.
Yeah, but that I never understood, because I already worked in retail like you did, and the way that the cashier scanners work is they're super fast. You can like pass one item to the other super quickly. But these things, even if you try to scan it fast and put it on the bed very fast, the scanner itself is so bad. It like takes like a good like 2-3 seconds just to scan an item, and then you put it on the bed. Then you have to wait for it to sense it, and then you can go to the other one. It's so slow. It's even slower than just going to the human right next to it. So I never liked it.
I think it might be the sensing part. Like that might be the slow part. When you have to put it in the bag there next to it, and then it has to say, "Oh, yeah, that's the bag of nuts you just bought," or whatever.
Yeah, but also the scanning part. That takes way too much time just to scan stuff. Anyways, thank God they removed them from many stores, and hopefully the Amazon Go checkout will be used by many other people too. So, I stumbled across a little post a couple months ago, and I totally forgot about it, and I just stumbled on it again this morning. It's called Total Nightmare USB-C and Thunderbolt 3. So if you guys remember, in the very old times, we had the USB standard, which was the USB 2.0, which could do about 28 megabytes per second of transfer. And that was all dandy and fun. And then they came out with USB 3, which was new, faster, better, stronger. It was blue, so it was easy to see that, okay, it still plugs in USB 2 because it's backward compatible, but it's now blue, so it's better and faster. Perfect.
Or yellow if you use ThinkPads.
It was yellow? Seriously?
Yeah, it was yellow.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, so Lenovo is special. So that's all fun and dandy, but now we have a USB 3.1. We have many generation of this. There's the USB 3.1 Gen 1. There's the Gen 2. Then there is even the alternate mode, which can be used for non-USB protocols like DisplayPort, MHL, HDMI, Thunderbolt. And also the power delivery is not the same across all cables. Or ports, for that matter. So basically what we are at right now is we have this new USB-C standard with big air quotes that is now 1, 2, 3, 4 could have like 5 different components to it, and not every port, every computer, or every cable will have all these 5 components the same. So you end up in a situation where, let's say, you just purchased a new MacBook Adorable, it's on your desk, it's pretty nice, it has USB-C ports, and you figured, right, I can connect that to a 5K display, because I've heard that the new Macs with the USB-C can power a 5K display. Well, you know what? This little port is not Thunderbolt 3. It's only USB-C with the USB 3.1, was it Gen 1 or Gen 2? I'm not remembering properly. But basically, it's not powerful enough to connect to a 4K or 5K display. So, yes, the cable fits. Yes, you can plug it in. But nothing will happen. And that's only one part of it. The other part is cables. You go online, you purchase a new USB-C cable, you're super happy. It's the right color, it's the right length, but then you plug it in. It does plug in, but it does not power your screen. Because maybe this cable you purchase doesn't have the display capabilities. So you have to look online and find something else. There's in the article, there's even a picture of Monoprice selling 3 different cables with 3 different specs, and 2 of them have the exact same image, because visually there's no indication of which cable it is. It's all in the cable technology. So basically they reuse the same imagery for everything, and you can have different speed, different wattage, you can have different capabilities. So this is where we're at right now.
They just differentiate them by version. It's like Series 2.0, which means just something for Monoprice.
Yeah, well, that's their thing that they're giving you. But even though, let's say you get that Series 3.0, you're happy, you think you're all good and dandy, but then you don't have the fastest speed because it's only 5 gigabits, and you only have 15 watts of power through that cable. So you have to get that Series 3.1. So yeah, Monoprice tries to do something with versioning, so you can understand what they're selling and what's the newest one by looking at the version of the series, but that's not a standard. That's just them. So they're just trying to help us. But in the end, there's no standards. There's many different capabilities, and you don't take into account that some certain cables, as we've seen, I don't remember who posted it. I think it was somebody on Google Plus, real time follow up. Benson Long, yeah, it still exists. Benson Leong explained exactly what the problem was, because he got a bunch of USB-C cable from Amazon, and some of them actually burned his ports. So cables can also damage your computers. So yeah, it's like the post said, it's a nightmare, and there's really no solution except do your homework and look for exactly reliable cable. This is one case where I would say if you go to Monoprice and the likes, at least Monoprice is pretty transparent on the specs of its products, so it's probably easier to find exactly what you need. But stay away from Amazon and the no-name branding cables with very few specs, because they can either be not reliable, not what you really were looking for, or even dangerous. So
read your reviews.
Yeah. Well, even the reviews, I'm what's the difference between like a $2 cable on Amazon and a $2.21 cable on Monoprice? For $1 more, you're just certain that you're going to get this specific generation, this specific speed or power transfer, and it's going to work, So yeah, that we are like with the Dongle Town that our friend Mike earlier keeps saying. We are in the middle of something of a transition. So basically, it's not the right time to live for somebody who's super focused on gadgets and everything, because you're all in between technologies. So in, let's say, a year, all this will be behind us. But for now, you just need to be pretty smart about your purchases. So I wanted to share with you another post from Jason Snell about podcasting. For those who that interests, basically he tried to come up with a cheap podcasting studio on iOS without a Mac. So his setup basically includes a USB mic, which is our mic that we started to use a while ago and that you're still using, the ATR 2100. So our ATR mic is plugged into XLR to a Zoom recorder, which is then piped through a iOS device. So basically, he plugs in the ATR microphone to the iPhone or iPad using the Lightning to USB adapter. So he can launch Skype, and his friends on Skype can listen to him. At the same time, this microphone also has a XLR port, so he can plug in the XLR microphone to his Zoom recorder. So he has a separate recording, which is his own signal at the best quality possible. But at the same time, he can listen to the Skype conversation on his iPhone. And also, because he plugged in his mic via USB, people on the other hand can hear him. So I was surprised to learn that this mic can be used with XLR and USB at the same time. I was figuring out that it was only one or the other and not both. But it seems that you can do both with that little mic. So props up for Audio-Technica to make a mic that is so flexible. And the recorder he uses a Zoom H6, which is kind of a very great recorder with many tracks if needed when you're on the go. But there's also other recorders that are more accessible, like the Zoom H4 and the Tascam DR40. So the link will be in the show notes. I encourage you to read this post. And he also makes a series of articles. He's calling it the podcasting series, where he talks about transferring files, how to edit in GarageBand, how to use the iPad for recording and stuff like that. So pretty interesting.
Oh, we can use both XLR and USB at the same time?
Yeah, that's how Skype can actually share your audio signal with your friends. And you can also route the XLR into the recorder to record your channel, your track at the highest quality possible.
And the Zooms, they record on SD cards?
Yes.
So then you need another dongle to plug it into your laptop.
Dongle Town. Yeah, exactly. So, or your iPhone, if you want to use Ferrite to do the edit. So that's something that can also be done. But theoretically can do an iOS only workflow. No need for a Mac for that.
Yeah, with an iPad, it's probably easier to edit to than an iPhone.
Yeah, but it still works. I tried it, and Ferrite does work on an iPhone. It's not the best thing there is, but like I can easily imagine a big, nice iPad Pro with a big screen, and doing the edit is not such a big problem. I know that Fraser Spears from the podcast Canvas with Federico Vitici, he does the edit all in Ferrite on his iPad Pro. So there you go. You can do it like that.
It's just getting used to the new controls and all that, but I'm pretty sure it works. I'm pretty sure it's like really nice to do with your hands actually than using a mouse and cutting tracks and moving them.
It all depends on the precision that you can get from that movement. I would say ideally using the Apple Pencil would be even better because you could very precisely click on the waveform you want exactly where you want. Probably more precise than your finger, but so that's one way to do it, I think.
Yeah, you use the pen just to target where you want to cut, but then pinching to zoom and moving stuff around is all with your fingers. That'd be nice.
Yeah, or you can do two-hand gestures. You can get used to the pen on one hand and your fingers on the other, and do that like that. So now, if the big iPad Pro can only get even bigger. So we will see that in the coming month. There are rumors for that, so we will see. I wanted to share also with you a device that is very intriguing for me. It's called the Cocoon. It's a set of headphones that is super slim format on your ears that is actually made for sleeping. So they call it the first sleep sensing headphones. So it's basically like graphing, and kind of like you can do with your watch. Actually, your sleep patterns and everything, but it can also include white noise to help you relax and go to sleep. So it's designed for comfort. So it's not very thick. Everything is rounded. There's a lot of textile in the design and everything, and it can also tell your phone exactly when to wake you up, to wake you right after your sleep cycles at the perfect time. So that's also good. Basically, they had a Kickstarter going on, and they successfully got, I think, more than $2 million raised. And it was made in partnering with Onkyo, which is a known brand of audio products that's been there for many decades. So links will be in the show notes. This is interesting, more than a watch, because there's the white noise playback that can help you focus on nothing and just go to sleep. For those of you who have problems thinking about everything when you're just getting ready to sleep, and then your brain starts racing and thinking about 1,000 stuff at a time. So this could be useful.
They don't talk about price. How much was the Kickstarters?
I don't remember. It's been a while. Let me look at the price. It's in pounds, so it's 175 pounds. So what is that in?
229 USD on their website.
Oh yeah, there's a.
I can't even buy the couple packet.
Well, if you both have problems sleeping, yeah. So $229, like you said, plus $10 delivery, or $409 for a dual pack. They're coming black and gray. So I think it's a pre-order because it's not available yet. They're probably already started shipping those to the Kickstarter backers, but you still can't get your hands on it yet.
I hope they're well insulated also, because you don't want to disturb the other person.
No, they say that there's noise cancelling and everything. So, and I think there's a mention also of insulation, if I remember properly. Yeah, noise isolation. So there's white noise to help you. There's the headset itself is isolated, so you don't hear outside noise, and there's also active noise cancellation in the headset, so you get all technologies of canceling and isolation. So
then what happens when there's a fire in your house at night?
You're gonna sleep right through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bad part. So,
or just anything going on around you when you're sleeping, you can't be alerted.
Yes, that's true. Maybe they should probably have a feature that your phone can listen to the surrounding noise
If you
and
get
send you.
alarms, please wake
Yeah,
me up.
exactly. Or some kid saying, "Hey, daddy, something's wrong, whatever," and maybe the phone can listen to that and pipe the audio, or just give you like a quick so you can wake up or something.
Or then they can partner with like baby monitor apps.
Yeah, true.
So that you get your baby crying in your ears.
Yes, and directly piped into your ear canals.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I stumbled across a little gizmo on the internet this week. It's called Pico. It's actually the product of. I'm not ready. Let me just take a look.
It's called Pico, no? That's the name of the product.
No, but the guy who did it.
Ah.
He's called. So the robot is called Pico, but the guy is called Abhishek Singh. He basically is he's an MIT student or engineering student at the very least, and he had a project of building a smart robot that can be voice controlled and has human known reactions to things. But since he also likes GIFs, he wanted to have a screen and have the appropriate GIF to respond with emotions. Because he's basically saying that, okay, you can easily do like little eyes and a smiling face for somebody who's happy, but it's very, very limited in terms of emotions. So GIFs usually convey much more emotions and much more context than just a simple smiley face or a sad face. So whenever you speak to Pico, and he's gonna reply, but he's also gonna move. He built an access system on the device so that whenever, let's say, he's listening to music, he will nod his head left to right with the music beat. If you make him sad, he's gonna lower his head forward a bit just to express the same emotion. So, and he did this with all parts he ordered. I think he said he ordered more than 100 package from the internet for different parts to be able to make it, and he 3D printed the base and the head. So there's a camera, there's a microphone. I think there's like 4 or 5 microphones like in the Amazon Echo to understand you properly. And there's voice recognition, so there's lots of software. This took, I don't know how long to do, but he did a bunch of prototypes in AutoCAD and then printed the parts. There's a post on Imager with all the little photos and GIFs of how he did it. Seriously, this is an amazing product. For one single guy to do it, it's pretty intensive. In his video on Vimeo, he even says that he understands now why companies have somebody for sourcing materials, somebody for sourcing parts, somebody for designing like the software, somebody for doing the software. So everybody has its own set of tasks, if you want, in that kind of project. And in the end, you can all work together on something. But for this project, he did everything himself. So he had to do all the sourcing, all the design, all the work, all the coding, all the assembly. And it was quite intense. And yeah, so but the end result is very interesting. So the little robot is pretty cute, and there's so many possibilities with that. It's kind of crazy.
So you say this is a school project?
Yep, I think it was his not his thesis, but his either master or doctorate project. So it's a pretty crazy.
We don't see it used. What does he use it for? Just to shake, say no, and hi human? Did you see any more videos? You said there's a Vimeo somewhere?
Yeah, there's let me put it in the show notes so you can see it right up. Yeah, you can tell it to play music. He's going to play music from Spotify. You can tell him to send texts. You can tell him to control the lights also, because it's routing requests to, I guess, Philips Hue or IFTTT or the likes. So it's all like software based, computer, internet accessible. So basically, you can have him do whatever stuff you do with your smart device right now. So it uses the Google API and Amazon APIs for speech recognition. So it can understand you properly and understand the actions you want to do. And I guess they're probably coded in the app itself to when you ask for lights and you ask them to be turned on or off. and all the synonyms, well, it understands you properly. So.
Does he talk about selling it or anything? No.
No. It's only a school project if you want. So it's basically just to do something from the design to the final product, like by himself, basically. I'm sure maybe, well, you can get, it's going to be all open source, so you can get all the plans and you can even do it yourself, but this will be quite complex project. Because this guy has still lots of experience. If you look at his portfolio, you can see he already did a similar project with a little robot and LED lights eyes that convey hearts or just like happy or sad eyes, and little arms that move from top to bottom. So he already had some part of the project there. He also made like a shoe-shaped lamp that is controlled by your phone. So he basically like probably did all the little parts individually and then figured out he should do as a final project everything together in one single unit. So pretty impressive for a school project. So this week, this Thursday, we learned, actually the day before or the morning, actually we learned that the Super Mario Run will be available in Apple stores all around the globe as a demo you could use on the different devices. So it happened that I was working from home that day, and during my lunch I went to the Apple store to try Super Mario Run, and I've seen all the store clerks were there, all the genius with all those little stickers and on their shirts of Super Mario. So I was pretty happy to be able to play the game. But you know what? It was not ready. So they said, come back tomorrow. So basically, I could not play the game.
They probably re-imaged all the phones overnight or something.
Yeah, but they should have done it the night before. So as explained in the Jimmy Fallon interview with Regis Fils Emmy, that the Thursday will be available for everyone. So we were Thursday, and it was not available for me.
Did you check the time zone? Maybe you weren't in the right time zone.
No, I was in the right time zone. There are no time zone that lasts 24 hours. So
yeah, I might go this weekend, so I'll see if it works, or if it's on the phones.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. Not only because it's the first Mario game, but also because knowing Nintendo and the way that they craft their art, it's going to be probably one of the best games on a mobile platform, just because they're going to make sure that it's adapted perfectly to this platform and not just a stupid port like some companies are trying to do. And a little bit of rumors, because we cannot do a show without at least one rumor. The AirPods are being delayed. That we know. That's confirmed. But the reason why they're delayed is supposedly that there's a sync problem between the left and right earbuds. As we learned in the past, you can take an earbud out and it's gonna mute your music, and when you put it back in, it's gonna play the music again. So there's probably like a special condition where if you mute one or the other, or if you remove one or go back to mono or whatever, they probably go out of sync, and that supposedly is the reason why they're being delayed. So
it's
they're still working
to the
on
Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
You can't even read the website; you have to be signed in.
That's super fun. Yeah, so basically that's the rumor going around. We know that some journalists had reviews of those. Some of them still have them on hand, and they're reporting that they have no problem. But then again, maybe they're not allowed to tell about problems. Sometimes non-disclosure agreements are specific that whatever problem you have with a device, you cannot report until a specific date that the company will agree to give you. So basically, maybe they do have problems. I'm sure they're probably working most of the time, but there's probably some times that they have problem, and maybe you just have to put them back in the case and take them out or something so they can resync or repair or whatever. But basically, we don't know what's happening with that exactly. This makes sense. Basically, these devices are so much independent because there's no wire between them that they have to get their right to be able to provide the best experience possible.
I hope they have a bunch of them produced and they're just waiting on this fix, and it's a software fix, so they can just update them and then ship.
That would be the best. Usually Apple is the kind of company that does not cheap out on chips and stuff like that. So whatever they put it inside, it's probably just either a software update on the iOS side of things or a firmware update on the chip side. So both sides are software, so they can be updated. So hopefully they'll provide that also to the journalists who already have the demo units. So, and for the review corner this week, I reviewed a couple of days ago the USB Pre 2, which is an USB interface for your XLR microphones. So for those of you who don't care about podcasting and podcasting technique, you can skip ahead the chapters. For those who like this kind of discussion, you can open your ears and listen to my voice. So for those of you who already tried to dab into the little podcasting world, basically once you have an XLR microphone, you basically have a good microphone, but you need to convert that analog signal into digital. So how do you do that? Well, you have to use some kind of USB interface. There's a bunch on the market that go from something like $100 to in the thousands of dollars if you get a rack-mounted one, like they do use in the studios. But there's also one unit that is super high-end, super high quality, but still small enough that you can fit on your desk or even take with you on the road. So the USB Pre 2 is that device. It's a metal case comprised of preamps for your microphones with a bunch of input and outputs and a bunch of knobs and lights and colors and everything that a geek like me likes about devices. So the device starts with inputs. You got 2 XLR inputs. You get also RCA and jack inputs. And you also, and for the outputs, you have either XLR, so you can pipe this device into some other device or some other mixer. And you also have a headphone jack of both sizes, the 1/4 and 1/8. And you also have Toslink and RCA out on the side. So what does it do? Well, basically, you plug in your microphone, you have gain controls, you got 2 inputs, so you got 2 knobs for that. You got also the volume for your headphones, and you got a bunch of little buttons in the front that specifically set up what you're hearing from your headphones. If you want to pipe the audio only into the headphones or in the headphones in the computer or just the computer. But where this device actually performs better than the competition is first on the hardware side. The preamps are super high quality. There is basically no noise whatsoever on this device being picked up. Being added by the conversion to digital. Some cheaper units can have problem and add noise on top of your sound. So you can basically record a track with no mic plugged in, and you have some background noise. When there's no mic, how can there be noise? Well, that's the noise generated by the preamps itself. The other part that is quite unique for this device is the dip switches. So normally in computer world, you have a device, you have a bunch of options, and you usually have a couple of softwares options you can program. In this case, there is basically zero software involved. It's only a physical device in a big sturdy metal box. But how can you can personalize the effects or how you want the sound to be affected? Well, there is 20, not 2, not 3, but 20 dip switches in the back, aligned in 2 rows of 10, where you can set up if you want phantom power. So for those power-hungry condenser mics, you can have padding also if your microphone is too sensible. You can have routing 2 tracks into a single mono track. So you can record in stereo or basically just have those merge into one. You also have a bunch of options with low noise, low cut filters and others. So you can make sure that if you have you are on the go and there's like a windy situation, you can take out some of the noise like that. And there's much more features for that. So basically, I was able to test that little device for a couple of weeks. I've used it to record the last couple shows, including this show. This device was loaned to me by the company and sadly not given to me because this is kind of like the Cadillac of desk-mounted USB interface. You cannot get something better for that price. The price is about $800 US and 1,200 Canadians. So that's many Canadians. if you're following.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people. Basically, I've tried hard to find like a downside to this device. Everything it says, it does it perfectly, and the quality is top notch. The only downside I can think of is the price. This kind of device has the potential to do great things and is doing great things, but it sadly comes with a big price tag. And I would hope the price would go down so that people can enjoy the device. Basically, I think it's the first time I did a review where all the ratings are at 100% except for the price. So this gives you an average of 94%. So it's, to my eyes, it's really like the best device out there. Of course, you don't need that device if you're just starting into the podcasting world. You can get something that's in the $100 range, and that will do the job just fine. But if you want to invest and get the best sound there is, this is a device that is being used by the RGBA host most of the time, and Jason Snell, and other also big names in the podcasting world. So you can understand that this is basically the device that they're using for a good reason. Any questions?
Physically, it's very nice, right?
Yep. It's a metal case. I think it's aluminum. It's matte black, so it's not shiny. The knobs are very textured, and they are very strong. Everything feels super solid for this device. Whenever you plug something in, you can hear the click, and it holds perfectly. So they say that you can use that in standalone mode, meaning that you can use it on the go, and there's a bunch of dip switches to select the sampling rate you want this device to do. And I can see this device going with me in my bag, and I'm not going to be afraid of even dropping it, because it's basically like a little tank. So I'll put the link in the show notes for the written review. It's basically what I said and a bit more, so you can take a look at that. And there'll also be links in the show notes if you want to purchase one, because this is expensive but very, very, very good.
Very worth it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Seriously, if you're serious about your recordings, this is the device to get a clean sound to your computer with no noise whatsoever added to it. All right. So this was RGBA 32. You can find the show notes at RGBA.fm/32. You can follow RGBA on Twitter at _RGBAfm. I'm on Twitter as Valia, VALLIERES.
I'm Tyler Menard, TYLERMENARD.
Send us a rating on iTunes, so give us 5 stars, send us feedback. You can do so on Twitter, or there's even a form on the website, so just go crazy about it. Have a nice week.
Have a nice week.